But we didn't stop there. For our customers that want the most sophisticated technology that really pushes the limits, we've created something truly special. And I'm thrilled to introduce it to you now.
Oh, na, na, na.
What you need to know about the rumored iPhone 17 camera was shot down by leaker. Rendered photographs allegedly of the iPhone 17 Pro Max released by a Russian YouTube channel showed what it could look like only earlier today, based on reports of the new iPhone running with a horizontal camera configuration. Many likened it to the Google Pixel 9 Pro X style, with rounded camera bar. This would be a radical makeover for sure. However, it seems as though this extreme transformation might not be happening at all. First shown on Weibo, digital chat station who claims the iPhone 17 has indeed been changed to this design, posted first render of this new iPhone 17 redesign. One would expect this new horizontal camera arrangement allegation to pan out given how the leaker before revealed accurate information about the iPhone 16 Pro. This is because another trustworthy leaker is dispelling this rumor and stating that the iPhone 17 Pro, and probably iPhone 17 Pro Max, will stay with its recognizable triangular configuration. Instant Digital, a Weibo user, was quick to point out in a post that the leaker has previously given accurate leaks like the yellow iPhone 14 and how the new iPad Air moved to a landscape front-facing camera. Although the iPhone Pro series is clearly ready for a redesign, given the present design language goes back only to the iPhone 11 Pro, a horizontal camera system on the rear of the phone would surely be a dramatic one. Phone makers are continually experimenting with alternative designs, but there's a reason why the triangle arrangement makes more sense, as 9to5Mac points out. And the most unexpected point in modifying the appearance is the departure from the fundamental innovation of the iPhone 15 Pro/15 Pro Max, from titanium. Moreover, the titanium aluminum alloy, from which the frames of the present Pros are built, will be replaced by plain aluminum. And this is strange. Aluminum in the Apple ecosystem is classed as a so-so substance. Not elite. Make a frame of the basic iPhone out of it, please. But the Pros received surgical steel or that very alloy. The explanation is plain to me personally: inflation. In 2017, the 64 gigs iPhone X cost $999 in the US. The newest 128 gigs iPhone 16 Pro likewise costs $999. The price has not altered, but for Apple, components have become more expensive, and typical economic inflation makes itself felt. $1,000 7 years ago is $1,250 now. That is, the numbers do not change, but the final advantage for Apple is dramatically decreased. And here there are two ways: to increase the cost for the consumer or to downgrade. Manufacturers of Chinese smartphones indulge in both, but Apple carries out these operations, let's say secretly. It has not changed the camera module for 3 years, has not raised the bar for basic RAM for many years, and has not changed the screen specifications. Now, evidently, we will have to go for more dramatic adjustments. And this is challenging for various reasons. Apple is not stupid. And Apple realizes that consumers are tired of the appearance of the smartphone, which has not changed since 2019. This is also reflected by the stalling sales of iPhones. Given the growth in the cost of components and the loss in the real worth of the dollar, this stagnation turns out to be degradation. Therefore, consumers need a break in the pattern, and it will most likely happen. True, I still don't quite grasp how Apple will explain to customers why it abandoned glorious titanium, even though it is an alloy with aluminum, in favor of conventional inexpensive aluminum. By the way, judging by the leaked photographs of the frame, just part of the back cover will be metal. The other section will stay glass, which is fantastic for MagSafe and wireless charging in general. At the same time, this sort of glass will not only appear different, but will also cost Apple substantially less. You also need to be able to skillfully integrate glass into the frame so that it is not felt by fingers, as the Pixel 9 Pro example illustrates. Google does not know how. But there is no need to round the glass, as is done with the iPhone 16 Pro/16 Pro Max, and this is a saving. In general, a profit both for the user, who obtains a new design, and for Apple, which will save on components for several years. Another aspect that, regrettably, is not depicted in our renders is the dynamic island. It will presumably become smaller since, according to respected insider Ross Young, Face ID will be disguised under the screen. However, another reliable analyst, Jeff Pugh, believes that the smaller dynamic island will only appear on the fattest iPhone, the 17 Pro Max. It could all boil down to spatial video, which others believe makes more sense with a vertical camera setup. In the current triangle setup, the iPhone 16 Pro's main and ultra-wide cameras are positioned horizontally when the phone's held in landscape, resulting in a spatial movie in landscape format. In contrast, if the iPhone 17 Pro were to follow a horizontal camera configuration, as the rumored renders have revealed, it might not be able to adequately record spatial video in landscape format. I wouldn't say it's outside the realm of impossible, but exceedingly unlikely. Furthermore, Apple might be experimenting on other designs to determine if they're practical to build to begin with, or even just sowing seeds to mask its intentions. We're still a long ways away from an iPhone 17 release, but we're now in a phase where the design needs to be worked out for Apple to gather the necessary components and suppliers to make it. There's also reports of Apple throwing another model into the mix, an iPhone 17 Air, which is purportedly going to be the thinnest iPhone ever built. And one more innovation, on which I will complete my diatribe about design, is the volume buttons. They will be united into one and will become touch sensitive. True, we expected this breakthrough a year and a half ago in the iPhone 15 Pro/15 Pro Max, but then something didn't work out. The new design of the camera block with a rectangular arrangement of lenses generates significant confusion for numerous reasons. One of the characteristics of the triangle arrangement of cameras in the Pros is the smooth switching between cameras during shooting. You may easily transition from 0.5x to 5x, and the picture will not have a fit at this time. There will be no glitches, but there will simply be a smooth and nearly natural switching. But with a horizontal arrangement of cameras, this seems to be impossible to execute. Spatial video for Vision Pro can only be shot with a vertically positioned camera block and only with a horizontally positioned iPhone. Vertical spatial movies are virtually useless for one reason. Humans have evolved panoramic vision. But you most likely don't even know the word Vertorama. I didn't know it a minute ago, and neither did my wife. Simply because our vision for this highly vertical panorama is limited. And so when you turn the iPhone horizontally, the horizontal camera block becomes vertical. And this will allow it to capture spatial films, which will be useless for the viewer. The brain simply cannot perceive and see such things. So I have a lot of questions regarding why Apple would forget that a customer would be able to shoot material for their Vision Pro without the Vision Pro itself. All three cameras on the rear panel will have sensors with a resolution of 48 megapixels. In theory, this will allow Apple to enter the era of 8K video with switching between modules during shooting, which no smartphone can yet deliver, as on all Android flagships. The ability to film in 8K is confined to one wide-angle module, despite the resolution of other sensors up to 200 megapixels. Of course, we are expecting the new Apple A19 and A19 Pro. At the same time, the chip manufacturing process will move from N3E to N3P. This will allow us to remain the same 3-nanometer manufacturing technology, but the transistor density, despite preserving this parameter, will grow. And this will lead to greater productivity and lower energy use. A few days ago, the Wall Street Journal reported the iPhone 17 Air will be cheaper than the iPhone 17 Pro models, not the other way around. Older sources stated the ultra-thin iPhone might be even more pricey than the Pro. Apple could charge more for the handset as a result. It no longer looks like the iPhone 17 Air will be an ultra type of smartphone. Therefore, a price in line with the $899 iPhone 16 Plus makes more sense. If Apple boosts pricing across the way by $100, and I'm speculating here, the Air could start at $999, while the cheapest Pro would cost $1,099. The Air would still be more reasonable than Apple's Pro models, but it would be more expensive than I'd personally want it to be. The leaker predicted that the Galaxy S25, S26, iPhone 17, and iPhone 18 would all experience price hikes. Obviously, if the Galaxy S25 and iPhone 17 were to undergo price hikes, their successors would also be more expensive than the 2024 Galaxy S24 and iPhone 16. Samsung and Apple would not necessarily have to raise pricing 2 years in a row, and I'm not convinced customers would stomach such a circumstance. We did see stories from Korea saying that Samsung will have to hike the S25 prices in various areas. It's not simply the weak one that's to blame. Samsung is adopting pricey high-end CPUs from Qualcomm for the S25 series, which may be passed on to the user. Apple doesn't have the same difficulty. It makes its own high-end CPUs for the iPhone, iPad, and Mac. However, iPhone 17 price hikes might be one approach to raise revenue while coping with stagnating demand. Remember that Apple managed to pull off a trick in recent years that no other smartphone vendor could emulate. Apple upped the average selling price of the iPhone without dramatically increasing sales. Consumer preference for the iPhone Pro and Pro Max helped Apple get there. Finally, I'll mention the clear price hike that Apple can pull off this year without it feeling like a true cost rise. Apple could delete the 128 gig storage tier from the Air and Pro models, much like it did with the Pro Max in 2023. I might see the 256 gigs iPhone 17 Air and iPhone 17 Pro start at $999 and $1,099, respectively. The base iPhone 17 would still contain 128 gigs of storage, beginning at $799 with carrier incentives. Whatever the case, I'll most likely get a 256 gigs iPhone 17 Air next year. If Apple hikes prices, we'll know all about it in the following months as we approach the iPhone 17 launch event. So if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more tech news. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.